Superman has always been my favorite DC comic book character. I've seen most of the movies that are out, and I grew up watching Smallville. And even after watching every Marvel movie from Iron Man to Endgame, I still would have to say that Superman has been and always will be my favorite superhero, not just favorite from DC Comics. I guess I should say that I've watched a lot of the movies, but not almost all of them, because there is a lot that I still gotta watch. When Injustice first came out in April of 2013, I had no idea that there was a comic book in the same name that came out earlier in January of the same year. Injustice: Gods Among Us, the video game, acted as a sequel to the Injustice comic book, but they designed it so you really don't have to actually read the comic book to know what's going on. The story for a video game was extremely short. I beat the game in like 3.5 hours, and it wasn't my first time playing it. I just didn't remember how short this was. When I played this game when it first came out, I hated it. Not the gameplay or the game itself, but just I hated the story. I never imagined in a million years that they would make Superman a killer. But when the movie came out in 2021, I got a better understanding of why Superman was doing the things that he was doing. In the video game, it just cuts straight to the point, and the game doesn't actually give you time to emotionally invest into what actually happened to Superman. As the game begins, you see Metropolis destroyed and Batman is questioning Joker. The Joker had destroyed Metropolis and killed millions of people. He destroyed Superman's home. When Superman busts in, you'll find out that the Joker drugged Superman into killing Lois and his son. And that's it. That is literally the only emotion you get. Then Superman kills the Joker. Pretty crazy, right? After this, it pretty much has nothing to do with the comic book or the movie. The video game kind of just does its own thing and goes completely off the rails with alternate Earths, which is in the comic and the movie too, but very briefly, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The movie, however, gets you invested in Superman and Lois's relationship. In the beginning, Clark Kent and Lois are living together in an apartment in Metropolis, and Clark is listening to Lois's heartbeat when he hears a second heartbeat, a little bit faster than hers. So Superman, like any normal human being that is about to be a dad, is excited and scared all at the same time. He hears that Batman is in Metropolis for some reason, so he races off to see why and break the news that he's going to be a father. But of course, Batman puts two and two together. So now I'm sure that you can see where this is going. Eventually, Lois gets captured by Harley Quinn and the Joker, and the Flash is looking for them, and he finds the Scarecrow dead. And then he dies due to Scarecrow's neurotoxin and a saw blade. Yes, that's right, Barry Allen dies within the first 8 minutes of this movie, and it was kind of gruesome.
Flash, come in. Flash!
Yeah, that was a little bit hard for me to watch, and it was a little unexpected. In the game, Flash does not die, but Shazam does. It's at the moment when Shazam starts to see how Superman is being completely evil. Shazam doesn't want to go along with Superman anymore, so Superman kills him.
Anyone else?
That was also pretty brutal. Another character that dies in the movie is Dick Grayson, or Nightwing. Nightwing, or a version of Nightwing, also dies in the game. I mean, this gets way more confusing than the movie. The game only mentions Nightwing briefly. Now what happens is that Robin, or Damian Wayne, accidentally kills Dick Grayson.
Nightwing! Grayson, get up! Get up! Get up right now! He always blocks it. Always!
Get away from him.
That alone is pretty tragic, but the movie of course takes a complete off-the-wall turn, and I guess Dick Grayson becomes a spirit that comes to Robin, and yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop when I saw that.
I have to say, you're better than I am. And you always were. Can you forgive me?
Already have. I've got to go now. Watch your feet, and remember, you don't have to kill everyone you fight. Please?
Fine. I'll try it your way.
Thankfully, they did not include this plot point in the game. I thought it was very strange. Now, moving on, keep in mind that Superman has his followers and Batman has his followers. It's a lot like Captain America Civil War, but in DC and not Marvel. Plus, the government isn't really involved. So in the movie, Superman actually went on a killing spree, killing every Joker follower that he could find pretty much, and this is the moment when Batman and even Catwoman was finally starting to see that Superman is starting to really go off the deep end. In the video game, it doesn't get to that point until Superman actually kills Shazam. I was really trying to see Superman's point of view, because watching the movie, he accidentally kills Lois and their unborn child because the Joker drugged Superman by combining Scarecrow's neurotoxin with kryptonite, making him believe that he was actually fighting Doomsday when he was it was Lois basically. This whole thing was completely tragic, and you can imagine why. It was truly heartbreaking.
Superman, stop. Whatever you're seeing, it's not real. Brace yourself!
And if you did not catch that, that was a heart monitor on Lois's heart that if it stopped beating, that would be the trigger for the explosion for Metropolis. But because the video game just kind of jumped into it with zero emotion, I did not like the game's story nearly as much as I liked the movie. And the ending varied a little bit too, but there was one big similarity. Batman's side of the Justice League decides to call on a different Superman from an alternate Earth to fight and defeat the evil Superman. Alt Superman defeats evil Superman quite easier than in the movie because, you know, the player is the fighter. But once he is defeated, they round up all the evil Justice League members and they stand trial. Evil Superman, on the other hand, gets a trial too, but they put him in a Red Sun prison, so he's powerless. The movie ended kind of similarly, but the alt Superman that they called from the other Earth could not defeat the evil Superman. Instead, they decided to call an alternate version of Lois, and she is a pregnant alternate Lois at that. In the movie, this version of Lois is able to talk and reason with this evil Superman, and he has an emotional encounter, and he willingly decides to pay for his crimes. They still do round up all the evil Justice League members for trial and put evil Superman in a Red Sun prison while he awaits trial too. But all this, he was actually willing to go because he realized what he did was terrible. Now, one thing that you should probably note before I close this video is that before Superman starts doing all this evil stuff, he goes on a war-preventing rampage and forces peace treaties and all this stuff. He goes across the entire world and preventing every war that is currently going on. At first, I was like, yeah, I can get on board with that. Then he starts ruthlessly killing all of Joker's followers, and I was like, well, maybe that was a little bit too far. Then he discusses gun control with Mr. Terrific. So I was actually going to let this scene play out, but Warner Brothers kept copywriting me. I even tried to cover it up, and it was still copyright claiming me. So I'm going to still show this scene, but in my own way. So here we go. What do you need, Superman? You interrupted this episode of Will and Grace.
More of your T-sphere, new hickeys.
Why?
I'm Hillary Clinton now, and I want to get rid of guns.
Then I was like, well, you can never get rid of guns.
I'm Superman. I do what I want.
You may be Superman, but people would resent us.
But they would be alive to resent us.
Some would fight. Have you ever been to Texas?
Let them come then with their pitchforks and sticks.
Well, don't you know that cigarettes kill more people than firearms? People keep smoking even though it's killing them. Their families will just watch them die.
That just means they're stupid.
You really want to save lives? Jail every smoker. Lock up everyone that leaves a dangerous dog unchained. That includes your super dog too. Finally, kill everyone who doesn't listen.
Checkmate.
You're not gonna help me, are you?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
I'm on Mr. Terrific's side. I just wanted to quickly mention that, but that's pretty much it. That is the difference between the Injustice video game and the movie. And if I were to rate the movie, I would give the movie 7 Superman S's out of 10. But if I were to rate the video game's story, I would give it a solid 3 regime symbols out of 10. Okay, he really wants to pick it out. Alright, hey, you want to pick it out? Go, pick one. Pick one. Get it all nice and blue for me. There you go. Oh, he actually did. Did you see that? That was kind of awesome. Let's see what he picked. He picked Saints Row the Third Remaster. I actually wanted to play this game. That is a good pick. I'm actually really excited. Saints Row the Third, the 3, he put the 3. It's Saints Row the Third. She wrote this. But yeah, Saints Row the Third. Alright, let's see what type of video. I've already got my wheel ready. So let's see what type of video. I'm actually really excited for this because I've been wanting to play Saints Row the Third for a long time. Here we go. Come on, something good, something good, something good. What is it? Countdown. Alright, I'll do a countdown. I don't know what kind of countdown I'm going to do for Saints Row. Like the 10. Okay, I guess you're going to click spin again. It keeps going to countdown. Alright, okay. That's what we're going to do, I guess. Hey, you. Yeah, you, the person watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video as well. It will help me out a ton. And click on one of these other videos. Thanks.